Hello and happy Thursday. I always have to kind of stop and think, oh, what day is it? And I know that you guys are probably right in that same boat. And yet today, I think the reason I'm thinking through that is I'm wondering, like, how the week got away from us all so fast. So we're kind of celebrating a little bit. Last night, my two college boys that are home both have finished up their semesters. And so that's pretty exciting to think that they have that under their belt already. It's like, woohoo. So hi, Sherry. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining in. So not doing anything special to celebrate except for the fact that they are done with, the youngest is done with his freshman year then. And thanks, Shelly. Yeah, tell Seth happy birthday on Saturday from me. I'm so excited to share that special day with him. And then my middle son just finished up it would be his 5th year. He's going for his master's in athletic training. And so he just has a 2-week break and then he'll be back at it too. But it feels good to have one segment down under his belt, and kind of the finish line of this last year is ahead of him. So we're just kind of celebrating with the excitement of it all. So hi, Tori. Thanks for joining in. I'm glad that you could have a great birthday yesterday and have so many people celebrate with you. Because it was a milestone birthday. I won't share how much, but it was fun that so many people could do their thing to help it be special. And I just want to make sure that my Facebook is coming up as I chat with you too. So the other thing that we're celebrating is first official day of rock picking. So I don't think that's ever going to make it into my Facebook Live, but it is definitely, if you don't live in this area and have never seen rock picking, it's always a fun thing to see happen. And especially if you don't know about it, you probably think, gosh, people really do that. So yeah, but when you know what it's all about, it's nothing. Everybody goes, yay, it's rock picking season. It's only yay when it's done. So all right, let's see. I was trying to think if there was anything else that I needed to talk to you about, but I think I'm going to jump into my card. Just kind of want to do a little quick peek before I turn the camera around. But today this is the card, and yes, the words will be backwards until I get it turned around, from Enjoy Life. So Enjoy Life has some neat silhouette images. It's on page 44 of the annual catalog. And my brother-in-law actually is very much an outdoor adventure, rock climber and such. And so as I got this out for the sentiment, I thought, ooh, I'm gonna make his birthday card probably this afternoon yet to get that out in the mail to get to Omaha in time for next week. And I think that biker there would be perfect. And I like that biker because it can be male or female too. Hi, Carol. Hi, Lisa. Lisa rock picked, yeah. Nobody forgets if you have. It's not one of those things like, hey, did I ever do that? You know if you have. So let me get the camera turned around. And I hope that never like upsets anybody's equilibrium. Another demonstrator had said, I saw another demonstrator put her hand over the camera and do this or that, but I think I'd probably end up knocking my phone off the tripod too. So I'm gonna switcheroo here and scoot my tripod down. Whoop. Yeah, I already kind of got it off my tripod. Down there. Yesterday, I think I had it up too high, but thought that was all the lower that my tripod went. And so then it was like, oh, I could have had it a little bit lower for you guys, especially since it was more of a technique type day too. So I think I have it set up where you guys can see me. Hi, Donna. Thanks for joining in. And as I get more comfortable with doing these live videos, I feel like you guys are getting more comfortable with chiming in and giving me feedback and different things too, which is great. There's hardly a day that goes by that I don't get a phone call or that I call somebody. So it's great to be able to chat with everyone that way and hear their voice. And sometimes I don't realize how much I miss people or crave hearing their voices too. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the camera here. So now we can read it because it's facing the right way. How beautiful a day can be when kindness touches it. And I wanted to, I don't want to say, I wanted to use this paper. I love this paper. And so that's what I want to talk about is how many of you save your paper because it's so pretty. It's so pretty, so let's not use it. Let's just save it and look at it. We don't do that with desserts we like. So we should just dig in when it comes to paper too. So this is from the paper that I've been using a lot of lately. See a Silhouette Designer Series paper, and you've probably seen different things like last month for April Stamp Camp. I used this pretty pattern. I've been using all sorts of different things from here, and I'm wondering too if I can, for that brother-in-law, the birthday card is talking about, if I could use something, maybe something that doesn't turn out looking pink, but some of these little tire tread marks for his birthday card with that bike image too. So I'm going to play around a little bit with that later, but I loved this. I almost used it on Monday's card with that jungle theme of the rhinoceros and such, but yet I wanted it to be more floral. So then, of course, what I do is I go to the back side of my package, and it'll list here all the colors used in this package, and that is so helpful. So when people say, how do you get your ideas, or where do you get your inspiration, sometimes I go, you know what, I want to use this paper, what colors go with it, go to the back, and then that gives me this. So not a lot of science behind that, and right now, who wants to talk more about science anyway? Okay, so hi Tabitha, thanks for joining in. So let me show you the stamp set. Okay, so Enjoy Life. Like I said, some nice, trying to get it so that the sunshine today doesn't glare on it. Lots of nice silhouette images and lots of fun sentiments too. So that's kind of a fun thing. The other neat thing about this is this little marking when you buy a stamp set, and it has that little gold thing. It's too small to read, and it says $1 Million Achiever. Stampin' Up! Celebrates its $1 Million Achievers by letting them help design a stamp set. So here's page 44. Whoops. So annual coming from page 44, and then you'll see that little thing too. So I was at a Stampin' Up! Event and having a special meal with top achievers, based on level in the company and such, and didn't realize I was sitting next to Connie Fitzgerald the whole evening, and I thought, what a wonderful lady and such, and she had quite a story to share about her son and what inspired her to create the stamp set for her son and daughter. Her son was in an accident and died unexpectedly in his early 20s. And so just how she wanted to celebrate him and her in a stamp set. That was a really neat story. So that's kind of the basis of how the stamp set came about from her. So if you ever purchase a stamp set and see that, there's a demonstrator that helped make that stamp set happen, and Stampin' Up! Works with them to create it too. Okay, so back to the card. I wanted something simple. I feel like this whole week I've been really heavy on technique and cards that maybe take a little bit more time. So I wanted to kind of just settle things down again, go simple, and I don't even have my big shout out today because there are people that during this time are loving getting back into crafting, and this is one way that you can start simple if you want to, or even if you don't have stamps on hand but have pretty papers at home from different projects or such, you could almost try and come up with something like this yourself too. So another color that I want to point out in with this paper is it brings out Pacific Point. And speaking of bringing out, this is a color I rarely use, Pacific Point. Just the other day we used Blueberry Bushel, and that's this color. And so sometimes you'll see the ink pads next to each other and go, well, they're already pretty similar, but I kind of want to show you how different Blueberry Bushel is compared to Pacific Point. And it kind of has that nice pop of color. And especially for spring, it's nice to see how different that can look on a card. I mean, that would be fine too, and it even brings in some Night of Navy, but I wanted to show you that just because I haven't used Pacific Point in a while. So I'm just going to fold my card in half. Hi, Julie. Hi, Barb. Thanks for joining in. Okay, and I pre-cut this here, and you can see there's kind of a little bit of shading difference throughout, and it's just the variation which makes the paper look kind of fun. So I'm just gonna tack that down, and even the back side, this almost looks like a mountain scene where you have like some meadow here and mountains and sky. So the back sides of these papers are really fun too. And when I first used this paper, I kind of did one of these touch and feel things because it almost looks as if it's been embossed with white embossing powder, but it hasn't. So it kind of adds that nice texture and watercolor look that way. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and tie on, whoa, some white baker's twine onto here. And the white baker's twine is retiring with this annual catalog. June 2nd's the last day, unless it would sell out sooner than that. I love using white baker's twine because white really goes well with a lot of things. I like baker's twine. I would usually wrap it around a card a couple times, and it just adds a little bit without being too overpowering. Trim it a little bit. I almost wondered if I should have went with a thicker ribbon today just because the pattern itself was so thick. Hi, Krista. Krista's my friend. She's a mail carrier, and I've been trying my best to support her whole business too through my card making. So the more cards you send, the more you're helping my friend Krista too in the mail industry. So I think that's great. So then the next thing I want to do, so yeah, I went back to using a thinner ribbon just because when I looked at the words, I thought they were kind of a little bit more intricate too. And so I thought the ribbon would tie in with the word font and such too. So I'm just going to take some Whisper White cardstock, and this stamp set is photopolymer, which means it's at see-through, so when you have it on your block you can see exactly how it lines up. So I'm just going to ink up my stamp on the ink pad and stamp that out. So we have that, and it doesn't matter if it's a little crooked on the paper or anything, because then what I'm going to do is take my punch, face it towards me, feed that right in like so, and I love how this greeting looks like it was meant to be almost exactly for that punch. So I punch that out, pops out towards me, so I can see exactly how it's framed there. And then I'm just going to take another piece of that Pacific Point, which is our card base, and just feed that in. And I still, even though there's no stamping, I still feed it this way towards me, because if it's this way, I won't know if I have only half of it being punched and leaving a gap there or not. So always having it face me, I know if I've got it going the right way and in there too. So, hi Sharon, thanks for joining in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you, like I've said in the past, I've used my Big Shot quite a bit, and so I thought I want to show you how you can create a nice little sentiment popped up being a focal point without using the Big Shot. And you might go, okay, so these are both the same, so you're not going to see that blue. But I do a little trickery here. I just take my scissor. You could use your paper trimmer too, but I like just picking up my scissor and starting right in the middle and just eyeballing it. And if you're off a little bit, it's really not going to be that big of a deal. Oh, so I use my mat. Anytime I use photopolymer, I use my mat. And before I forget, these are on the retiring list. So that's what I like to use for my photopolymer stamping, because it just gets a better image. Okay, so now to assemble this, I just put a little bit of adhesive on the top and then on the bottom. And then I'm just going to kind of line it up so that that corner here is kind of in that corner there on both sides. And I feel like that gives me a good judge of having it not be crooked, but I still feel like it's just a tad crooked. So I kind of want that to go over the top, or across the top straight. Maybe I'm being a little too fussy about it. Okay, so then I press. Almost looks like it could be a snowman in a cute little way, but we don't want snow. We're done with that for a while, and going to do the same thing here. So I want it to be so that's straight and parallel with that. And so you will get I'm going to hold that closer. You will get a gap there and a gap there, but it's a fun way to use the same punch, cut it in half, and then it actually frames it in a nice way for you that way. And then I'm going to pop that up with some dimensionals. So I'm going to put about 4, I might even do 5, just to make sure that that middle is covered well. Use a lot of dimensionals, but I feel like that's the part that nobody sees, but it actually adds a lot to your project. Okay, so then I'm just going to put that towards the bottom of the card, making sure that that lines up with that pretty well. I actually feel like the card I made for you looks a little bit straighter than mine did on my sample. And like I always kind of say, okay, this could be your card, it could be done, but I just want to throw in a little bit of extra. These are the Noble Peacock rhinestones, and they're in the annual catalog. They're also retiring. I must have liked this color, which was probably, I don't know, it was old olive, a green color. And so I'm going to go with kind of the darker green, first row of gems here and just add some of that. So I like using my take your pick tool, and I'm just going to pick up some of these gems and just kind of put them in places where they're going to show up. Just gonna, put on about 3 of those, kind of an odd number there. So they're barely on there, but yet it just adds a little bit of sparkle, but barely shows up. So it just adds a little bit more of a special touch to your card. And then I also want to show you what I'm going to do just for a little bit of an inside edition. Hi Susan, thanks for joining in. So in the stamp set here, there's these little tiny images. There's a butterfly full on, one that looks like it's fluttering, even a little bird, and a little flower, big flowers. I just felt like this was not matching in with my card, but if I pulled in a little bit with a fluttering butterfly, that could be kind of fun. Hello, Paula and Cease. Good to see you joining in. So I put both of those images on one single stamp. Sometimes if I do that, it helps so that I don't rock and catch some extra ink up there, which will smudge and not make my project look as nice. And so then by doing that, it helps that. And then it also reduces the number of time you have to ink and put it on your card, which is always kind of nice, especially today since I said I was doing an easier, faster card. This is just one less step. So I'll ink that up and just gently press that on there. And I still have a little bit of a smudge. Sometimes it's not how I stamped it. It's maybe that there's a little bit too much of an edge. And sometimes then I go in with my scissor and actually trim that away. So like anything, you guys know me, if there's one good side to cardstock, there's another good side. So I'm just going to, I think I maybe even rocked it a little bit. There we go, just gentle pressure. And then that's going to be just on the inside corner of the card too. Thank you, Julie. I just thought maybe I've been overwhelming you guys this week, and it's Thursday already, and you guys deserve an easier card to put together. So and like I said, the designer series paper, it's fun to let that do the majority of the work on some of your projects too, to use that up. So we've got the inside there and then the card front there. So I think so. All right, so I'm gonna flip this up and around. Okay. There you guys are. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed my card today, and I've been posting them when I'm done. I just post them right to Facebook on my business page here, and also to YouTube. I'm all caught up with the whole month of April and the ones I've done so far this month. So this is card number 4 out of card number 10 for my 10 cards I'm doing for my virtual May Stamp Camp. And I've already had one hostess contact me for the month of June. So in June, on June 3rd, the next annual catalog launches, and I'm super excited about that. There's so many fun things that are going to be coming out in that. Hi Cindy, good to see you on here. And so with that, she's contemplating like, okay, I want to do a book party, kind of that online thing. So I kind of walked her through, and I want to put that bug in your guys' ear too, since I have a few extra minutes because my card was easy today. So how I do that for virtual online parties is that if you choose to be a hostess with me, I give you a host code. You have 30 days to have your party open from start to finish, and finish means that's when you get to pick out your fun free products or even your half price item and such. And so for 30 days, people can use your host code to order online, or if you have people that aren't comfortable with that, have them contact me and I'll help with orders, and everything can be shipped to everyone's home. And so that helps, since some of us are still social distancing depending on where you live and such. And so with that, I will dedicate 3 cards to that hostess, and 3 days in a row will be her cards or your cards, and anybody who orders using that host code will get those 3 cards mailed to them as a thank you from both her and I. So that's how I'm doing my online events right now, since we can't be together. And some of you have also asked, hey Belle, have you rescheduled your open house from March and when we couldn't get together? And so I haven't, and my ideas and thoughts with that are, things are still too uncertain right now, and even if things start to open up, I feel like maybe we should still kind of take things a little bit easy and kind of ease into that. And also with summer, I don't do stamp camps, and so I have decided that May will be my last virtual stamp camp until I go back into my regular schedule in September. So I take the months of June, July, and August off to spend with my family, because I do put a lot of time and effort into my business, and that doesn't mean that I'm not doing my business, it just means I'm not doing stamp camps. So that's where I can focus on parties if you're interested in that, even if it's just book parties or virtual events right now too. Hi Lenora, thanks for joining in. So I didn't mean to really ramble about that, and people that know me know that I'm never too pushy about, you know, having a party or doing things like that. So sometimes I almost forget that I need to include that so people know that I do that and such too. And so people that have had to go that route have been really pleased with how things have turned out for them. And it's been a fun way for people to get the cards that I'm making in their hands. And like all of us, you see things in the catalog and then you see them in person and go, wow, that looks so much nicer, vibrant, and things like that. And so even with this, you can see me making the card, but to have it in your hands is kind of fun too. Or that way you have it right in front of you if you want to make a dozen more to send out to friends too. I know a lot of you are making a lot more cards at this time, and sometimes you have more time, so that's why you are, or you just think, you know what, you need to be more, I don't know, better at connecting with people too. So I just wanted to be able to help you in that way. And as always, I hope I'm inspiring you to get out your things, be creative, and have fun with it too. So happy Thursday, people. See you tomorrow afternoon. Take care.